Well, Liam, it was a long journey back on Tuesday night, but I bet you were all pretty happy with the way everything went at Wigan.
Yeah, it's delighted with the players. I think when you look at it, their attitude, how hard they worked, how deep they had to dig in terms of to grind out a result. I thought was terrific. I have to say I felt really comfortable actually second half. I thought we obviously didn't have a lot of the ball, which is quite different for us, but we showed a different side to us. We showed the discipline in block. We showed a real desire to defend. And that's important. I think if you look at a long season like we have, it's been able to sustain control in all moments of the game, and I thought we did a terrific job of that the other night. So delighted for the players. They deserve the 3 points.
It's I suppose considering how often we get to speak to you, it feels like you're part of the furniture already. But I mean, when you say things like you are still seeing a new side to the team, obviously that's you're always learning, aren't you? You're always seeing a new part of the team, and I suppose, like you say, Tuesday night was a different way of winning.
Yeah, and I think key thing for me is constantly looking to get better. I think when I look at it, and I talk a lot about it, and I'm sure the players would hopefully echo it, that I think when you look at culture, you have to come in and work every day at culture. You never achieve it. One tiny thing can derail the whole culture that you have. So we have to come in every single day and work as hard as we can to contribute to the culture we have here. I think then what we've got is a group of staff and players that are hungry, ambitious, that want to learn, that want to improve, and understand that we're by no means the finished article. So even when you get elements of success, it's actually still looking at what was good. Of course, I think that's really important that we get the balance right of reflecting on what is good and what good looks like and why it's good, but also then looking at little things and little areas, both as a team and also individually, how we can to continue evolving and getting better. And that for me is really, really important. And I think what we have got here is at the minute is a real strong culture, and then we have got that real desire to learn and improve.
I suppose results like Tuesday night as well will obviously show them, and you of course, saying that it will be, if games like that pop up again, you're capable of doing it. There's not that uncertainty.
Yeah, and like I said, winning football matches in a variety of ways is important. Quite clear, not everyone's going to have a fantastic performance each week. The team's not going to be terrific every week, and I think what you have to be able to fall back on is being difficult to beat. So when the quality's not quite right there, or the opposition presses really good, etc. Of course we want to control the ball, we want the football, and we want to dominate possession. But when it's not quite right, what we need to be able to fall back on, and what needs to be ingrained in our culture, is that we are difficult to beat, and that we've got that real winning mentality, whether it's in 1v1 duels, whether it's defending crosses against their desire to attack it. We have to be able to fall back on them, the moments where we're really difficult to beat. And that was probably the most pleasing thing and the most enjoyable thing second half the other night, was seeing that the guys actually relished that challenge, and actually coming off after the pitch, they enjoyed it themselves as well.
I've just spoken to Andrew Fisher, and he was talking about how much he's having to concentrate with, not necessarily being involved and called upon to make saves, but having to pay attention to the game and knowing what was going on, particularly on Tuesday night. The ball was zipping around him, but never really quite making it to him. It's a massive trait for the whole defence, isn't it, to constantly have to be on the ball like that?
Yeah, and everybody, I think that's an important thing to stress. When we attack, we all do it, including Fish. When we defend, everybody does it. So if you look at some of the work that Mo put in the other night to sort of recover and cover people that were out of position was terrific. And that again, it's a collective effort to defend the goal and do what we did the other night. That has to be stressed. I think that's really important. And then real important them moments when you are fatigued, when the game, when you're under the cosh a little bit and the momentum's with the opposition, it's being able to stay disciplined, stay connected, stay together. And the most important thing is that what you said there is around focus and around making sure you stay concentrated. I think when you look at a 95-minute football match, there'll be periods where you work, periods where you rest. Someone goes down injured, you can physically sort of rest and take a moment. But what you can't do at any point during football matches is switch off. I think even set pieces are a prime example. It goes out. If you take too long to reorganise because you're resting mentally, you get punished for it. So I think that's a key part of us, and what we're trying to do here is create that ability for players to sustain high levels of focus for long periods.
Something else he mentioned, though, is conceding those goals first, and it's such a frustration to have to come back into games, isn't it? And almost fall behind to start chasing. And that's something obviously your side have done pretty well, but obviously it won't be too good for you on the sidelines.
Thanks again for bringing that up, Toby. Yeah, no, it's a it's an interesting one. I think we actually started the game really well the other night. I thought I think we entered their box after 90 seconds. It was one that we'd spoken her out and after Doncaster that we didn't start well. So I actually looked at Shrewsbury and I looked the other night and I was really pleased with actually how we started. Both halves where we were on the front foot. We actually got in our attacking third, a couple of times. And then obviously the goal came. I think the one thing that we've spoken about as a group is what you can't do is make a collection of errors because you will get punished for it. So that was the thing, and that for me just comes down to what I said a minute ago around focus and around discipline. So it's things that we look at, things that we want to do to get better. But I said it numerous times this season because it's happened is that we have got that fight within us. We have got that ability to bounce back. We are a resilient group. We will stick together in good times and bad times, which again I think only sets us up for the long term to be successful.
Something else we've mentioned on a number of occasions is the fact that goals are coming from everywhere, and for all your attacking threats, it was the defenders or the wing backs that were doing the goal scoring and being involved in the goals on Tuesday night. But having goals coming from everywhere, that must be such a pleasing thing for you as the head coach.
Yeah, and I mentioned it a few weeks ago that we've got a variety of sources of goals, and I think that's really important over the course of the season that we're not dependent on one or two people. I was really pleased for Dan and for Peter, to be fair. Dan's got into some terrific areas, and what a lot of people don't see is the amount of work that the staff do with players like Dan and what Dan does himself to actually improve his crossing and his quality on his final product. So I was delighted for him. Same as Peter. We'd obviously spoken a lot around him getting in into the penalty area, and obviously he does it and he scores the goal. So I think huge credit has to go to the staff and the players for that's not things that just happen. That's a combination of watching footage back, clipping games, designing sessions, sitting with players, and most importantly, the players buying in. I think that's the key to it. The players buying in and wanting to get better, and then being able to transfer the things that we're looking at and we're talking about back into the game. So, yeah, I thought there were a couple of terrific goals the other night.
Rotherham then, and finally a return to Stadium MK. It's been a long time since Dons have played a league game there. It must be nice to get back home again. Yeah,
definitely. We're on a good run here, so touch wood we can keep that going. It's nice to come back, to be fair. I think in terms of our surroundings, our pitch, our fans, I think I'm looking forward to the game, to be fair.
What sort of threats can Rotherham bring then? Obviously doing pretty well at the start of the season, sitting a couple of points and a place above you in League One at the moment.
Yeah, we obviously done our homework on them, had a look at them. Extremely physical, extremely. I think really progressive with their play. They run forward, they play forward, and they do it with quality, to be fair, and they do it with real intensity. So, again, I think our starting point, we have to match that intensity. We have to match that that desire to run and to compete and do that, and then hopefully then allow our style to come out in the game. But it's going to be a really difficult game. They're obviously on a good run of form. They've got some some threats within the team, and they're very well set up and structured. So we know it's going to be an extremely difficult game, but ultimately one that we're looking forward to. We're in a good spot ourselves.
Teams that come after you, they're the ones you tend to prefer playing against, certainly from what we've seen so far, aren't they?
Yeah, I think we've responded quite well to that. I think we've got players I think that are brave, that are willing to take the ball under pressure and in tight situations, and that the game's about space. And I think when teams do come after us, ultimately it's where they concede space, and I think that's where we've been quite successful and done quite well at finding that and hurting them in them areas. So. We'll be prepared for whatever they come and do. I think that comes back to some of the things I said when I first joined around producing players that can make decisions and solve problems. So if they want to come and press, we need to be able to deal with that. If they want to sit off and block, at the same point we need to be good enough to deal with that as well.
And just finally, a little bit of an injury update, if you could. David Kasumu limped out on Tuesday night. How's he doing? And also Ethan Robson's been missing from the squad the last couple of weeks. How's he getting on?
Yeah, so starting with Ethan. Ethan picked up a small hamstring injury in training, so he's out for a couple of weeks. So a little bit of a blow to lose him. He's obviously done extremely well since he came in. So we need to make sure now that we look after him and get him back in the best shape possible. And then David's nothing major. We're looking at him at the minute. It wasn't nothing major, so we're hoping he'll be okay.